Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about humidity and how we handle that with our two different miners that we have installed at this mining facility. It's the S19 Pro 110 terahash and the S19J Pro 100 terahash. We're talking about how we handle that humidity, how we protect the miners, make sure that none of them get any mold, that they don't have any humidity damage or anything like that. So if you think that's interesting, hit like, subscribe with the bell, go to cryptollc.org. If you want to set up a GPU or ASIC mining farm, we have a ASIC mining farm here, 1.75 megawatts. So if you want to set up something similar, 1 megawatt, 2 megawatts, 10 megawatts, 50 megawatts, go to cryptollc.org. We can help you set that up. Or if you want to set up a GPU mining farm, right now is the best time to jump in. Prices are rock bottom, so if you were holding off, right now is the best time. And before we get started, Bitcoin saves your wealth and Jesus Christ saves your soul. All right, so here's a current situation here. It is October, so it's getting colder and colder by the day. We have humidity that's being absorbed by these filters here, filtration system. That filtration system is absorbing the air with the humidity. It's traveling through the container, and then it should be dissipating as it gets closer to the miners, which is how we have it set up, so that the miners never ever consume 90% or higher humidity. So we have to make sure that happens. We don't get anything higher than that. We're not taking in 99% humidity into the intake of the fans or the miners themselves. So I'm gonna show you guys how we do that. Also the spacing. So we have S19, regular S19 Pro, 100 terahash, 110 terahash actually, and then the S19J Pro 100 terahash. They're next to each other. Sometimes they're not next to each other. Maybe it's just two Pros next to each other. Maybe it's two J Pros next to each other, and so on. So I'm showing you guys our results and how we set it up. All right, so let's get started. So here we have two J Pros, 1, 2. Spaced in between them, you can see that space. So that space is for the hot air to come back in to the container, get sucked into the miner fans here. Then that hot air will help the miner keep the humidity down. Also, you can see this edge here. We have some hot air. I can feel it pushing out. I can feel that hot air coming in from that edge. But between the miners, you can see we have more space. Let me get my camera in there. Basically, I try to get my camera to focus on there. There we go. That spacing right there. Again, for the same reasons, the hot air is coming in, getting absorbed, hot air coming in, getting absorbed, hot air coming in, getting absorbed, and so on. These are all J Pros. Now for S19, here's the S19 Pro 100 terahash. You can see it's different size. It's not as long, it's a little shorter. It's got a different power supply. It's almost the same, but a couple of differences. One of the big ones is that it's shorter. Has less chips on the board, has 114, and then this one has 126 chips. But our spacing is basically the same. We're not changing the spacing. We're keeping it pretty much the same. As in terms of the top, we don't have any space there at the top. You see how the miners, they pretty much touch that plywood. We don't have any hot air circling around back, causing the miner to overheat. We don't want that to happen, as well as we don't want the humidity to be too high. So that's a nice, perfect balance. And the way we do that is having it set up this way. We have spacing on the sides. We do not have any hot air at the top. We do not have any hot air at the bottom circling around. Everything's being pushed out, but not too much. And here's the results. So I have a humidity monitor here. Minimum was 12% and 51 was the max. That's good. That's pretty much been sitting here for days, and that's the results it had. So at peak times during the day, the minimum humidity was 12. And at peak times during the night, when it's the coldest, the humidity was 51. Look at this one over here. Right now it's 21. It's about 65 outside. Minimum was 10, maximum was 40. That's good. Now again, I'm placing it like this. So this hot air is going directly and hitting this humidity sensor, which is what I want it to do. So I know that at the sides of the miner, these little edges here at the sides of the miner, it's getting nice amount of hot air to fight off that humidity. If I did not have these edges here, right, with the spacing, then there will be no hot air coming back. These fans would be absorbing 99%, 100% humidity 24/7. Now in the daytime, obviously humidity was not 100%. So it's fine. But at nighttime, it gets really cold. Humidity goes up to 100% outside. That 100% goes right into the miner. And so for the next like 10 hours, 12 hours, 14 hours, these miners would be absorbing 100% humidity. So that's bad. We don't want that to happen. Look at this one right here. Like minimum 53, maximum 67. So everything is great. Now we place these humidity sensors on the left-hand side of the fan and on the right-hand side of the fan. And so we can get a result based on direct hot air hitting that humidity sensor or off to the side where the hot air is actually coming out here. We also have different setups like S19, showed you guys a little earlier. The regular S19 Pro 110 terahash. It's a little bit different, but again, we just place that humidity sensor, the same two edges to get a result. Look at this one right here. Like 1082, that's good. 1082, right there. I have a little bit of hot air coming out from that edge. You see that little spacing there? You see some sunlight coming in. So everything's working out great. Now, for this section over here, this section, we don't need to have them together. I mean, we don't need to have the spacing. We can have them together. The reason for that is we are farther away from the louvers. You see how far away from the intake we are on that side? And then on this side, you see how far away from the intake? We do not have any intake behind me. We only have them on the left and right-hand side. So what happens is when we don't have that humidity right in front of the miner, right? We have some space. It's about like 10 feet from that louver. By the time the humidity gets here, by the time the humidity is traveling and it gets here, it's already fell to a very, very good number. You can see it here, 1947. Look at that, 19 and 47 maximum. Even though we don't have any space, you see that? No space. No spacing. No spacing. Same thing over here, look at this. No spacing, zero spacing. Right over there, that's a tiny little crack. Let me try to focus on that. Basically no spacing. No spacing anywhere. You see all of that? Zero spacing. Because we do not need space here. Look at this humidity sensor. 1044, perfect. So everything is perfect basically in all locations. Meaning that we check humidity at this miner, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and so on. We check every single miner so that none of the miners are getting humidity. There is no circulation of air that's kind of circulating around. And then for some reason, even though we have spacing here, it's not good enough. It gets sucked in there. We don't want that to happen. So we got to check every single miner. And that's what we did. We checked all of them. And this is the best spacing that we need. You can see that this spacing here is really a lot thicker than the spacing in some of the other areas. Why is that? Like especially this one here, look how thick that is. Why is that? It's because at this location, we needed to have additional spacing. So the air intake coming in from this louver had a different impact than the air intake coming in from the other louver on that side over there. And that could be because of wind, because of circulation of air, whatever it is. We know that there's more air coming in here, and it was a little harder to control humidity, so we had to make the spacing a little bit bigger. And you can see it here as maybe like ½ an inch bigger spacing. But other than that, everything else is the same, and it's working out real nicely. This ensures that we do not have any miners absorbing 99% humidity. So we know that they are not absorbing 99% humidity, 100% humidity, like ever. It never happens. In terms of heat, again, we don't want that spacing too big because then the miners would be absorbing too much heat from their own exhaust. We don't want that to happen because obviously they will overheat, the mechanism will turn on where it'll turn itself off, the miner will stop mining because it overheated. We don't want that to happen either. So it has to be just enough to fight off humidity and no more than that. We do not want any more than that. Especially when summertime comes around, it's like 100 degrees outside. We do not want that spacing to be like 4 inches or 5 inches or something like that. All right, well, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys like it. You know what to do. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. Go to Crypto LLC if you want to set up a ASIC mining farm. Right now is the best time. We have land available here. You can purchase yourself a property if you want to start from scratch. Purchase property, purchase gear, transformer, containers, miners, everything. You can start all from scratch, set up a farm. We help our clients do that. So go to cryptollc.org. And that's going to be it for this video. And until next time, bye.